Hello, good morning. Farhan here. Today I will talk about the physiology of the exercise in hot weather. So we divide into the 4 part actually lah. For today I will talk about the part 1 regarding the body temperature regulation. So the body temperature regulation actually is our body have a condition which is become stress when we do the physical exertions. Complicated by the environmental conditions. So actually in our body we have what we call is a regulatory mechanism to adapt with the surrounding environment temperature. So such as like performing in extreme heat and cold places in a heavy burden on the mechanism that regulate the body temperature. So like I said, the human is actually the homothermic. So internal body in our body is regulated by controlled by the our brain, specifically was located in the hypothalamus. So humans actually for the normal temperature in human body is ranging from the 36.1 to 37.8 Celsius degrees, which is equivalent to the 97 to 100 Fahrenheit. So during with the metabolic production, usually in our body when we do the activity such as like exercise, 20% of the ATP breakdown is useful to the cellular work. Other than that, 75% is will produce the metabolic heat. So the transfer of the heat when from our cell to our to the surrounding is regulated or can be dissipated by the several process which is conduction, convection, and also the radiation and also evaporation. So this is the roughly the picture which is the we can say is a progress or process to maintain a steady state of our core temperature. Like when we face in the hot environment, so actually in our body will produce more heat during the exercise. So if internal body of the temperature is higher than the surrounding environment, so the process or the mechanism will develop to dissipate the heat from our body through the process, which is conduction. Conduction is involve direct molecular contact. That means when we touch our skin to the object, the heat will transfer. Okay. The second one is convection. Convection is involve motion of the gas or liquid across the heated surface. So that means if our body is a high temperature, then we jump to the ice water or the bathtub which filled by ice, so they will enhance the loss of the heat. Other than that, the third one is the radiation, which involve the infrared rays. And then the last one, the evaporation, involve loss of the heat as the fluid evaporates. So normally during the rest, the main process is the convection. Sorry, the main process is convection and radiation, while the exercise, the main process is evaporation will take. So this is the roughly diagram for the removal heat from the skin. So when we do the exercise, our body will produce heat as the muscle contraction, and then it will go to the blood, and then blood will travel through the capillary and then move to the skin. So the heat will transfer from the capillary to the skin via the convection process, and then it will dissipate to the air by these 4 process. So this is roughly the mechanism of the heat balance. We can see here, this is one of the player football. So when he perform the exercise, the heat from the body will transfer out through the convection, conduction, evaporation, and also the radiation itself. Okay. So other than the other factor that most important to to accommodate heat loss in our human body is humidity. So major role, humidity is actually plays a major role in a heat loss in evaporations. So humidity is, we can say like the amount of water molecules in the air when humidity is high, and then the air is already contained many water molecules, so it will limit the evaporation of the sweat. The conclusion we can say is high humidity limits the sweat evaporation and heat loss. So for the internal body temperature, the small increase in muscle inside our body is usually useful to make the muscle energy system become the more chemically efficient. However, the temperature above the 40 degrees, it will become harm, and then can affect the nervous system and reduce our ability to unlock the excess heat. During the exercise, the body often unable to dissipate the heat as rapidly as it's produced. In the rare circumstance, such as the temperature exceeds for more than 40 degrees, it will harm, and then he will denaturate the proteins in our body. Okay, so in our body we have one system to control the heat loss and balance. We call it as a body thermostat, which is controlled by the preoptic anterior hypothalamus. This control by the body thermostat will control the central and peripheral thermoreceptor. Central thermoreceptor is in the hypothalamus, transmit the information about the internal body temperature, while the peripheral thermoreceptor in the skin is to relay the information back to the hypothalamus. So these two systems will give a signal to the effectors, such as the eccrine sweat glands, smooth muscle, and then skeletal muscle, endocrine glands to participate, and then to help for the heat loss. So this is the diagram overview of the role of the hypothalamus in controlling body temperature. When our increased blood or increase the internal temperature, it will increase the sense by the hypothalamus. Then from the hypothalamus, it will send the sympathetic nervous system signal to the sweat glands, and also to the what we call this is muscle, skeletal muscle. So when it gives the signal to the sweat glands, the vasodilatation process will occur in the skin blood vessel, so more heat will be lost from the skin. In the skeletal muscle, for the sweat glands become the active increasing muscle. For the skeletal muscle, such as from when the temperature will decrease, skeletal muscle will shivering, so it will increase the metabolism and will degenerate the heat. Okay, yeah. So when other than that, when the blood is or skin temperature is decreased, the sweat glands or the blood capillary will vasoconstriction, and then so they will prevent the heat from loss to the environment. Okay, so quick recap: humans are hemothermic, maintain a constant internal temperature of 36.1 to 37.8 degrees Celsius despite changes in environmental temperatures. Body heat is transferred by the conduction, convection, radiation, and evaporation process. And then during the exercise, evaporation is the main means of the heat loss. During the rest, radiation and convection plays a role. Higher humidity reduces potential evaporation and thus affect the heat loss. The POH is the primary thermoregulator center. Preoptic anterior hypothalamus is the primary thermoregulatory center. It acts as a thermostat, monitoring temperature and accelerating heat loss and heat production as needed. So two sets of thermoreceptors provide temperature information to the preoptic anterior hypothalamus, which is a central and peripheral receptor. Central receptor is more sensitive. It will transmit the information change about the internal body temperature, while the peripheral receptor main role is anticipatory, allowing for the early adjustment to be made. effector stimulated by the hypothalamus through the sympathetic nervous system, and then can alter for the body temperature. That's all. Thank you.